Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Charlene and this is Coffee and a Book. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about all of the goals that I made for 2024. I will also let you know how I've been doing on those goals up through the first 3 months of the year. I will talk more about where I'm at after April's reads when I get to April's wrap up. So let's go ahead and get into it. So my first goal of the year was to read 6 big books, 6 books over 500 pages. I made this goal because I tend to only, on my own, normally read 3, maybe 4 big books a year, and I just want to push myself to read a little bit more than that. And as of March, I have only read 1. So, not great, not really where I want to be, but not terrible yet. So we'll see how it goes the rest of the year. My next goal was to finish 6 or more series that only have 1 book left in them. Yes, I am one of those people. I am terrible about starting series and not finishing them. And I think I had 13 or 14 series with only 1 book left at the beginning of this year, and I want to get them finished. So, as of March, I've only finished 1. I finished the Amulet series by Kazuki Buishi. And that was a graphic novel series, so that was an easy one. I have a few others that are also easy, but I need to finish more. My third goal was to read 3 biblical nonfiction books. Last year, my goal for myself was to read 1 biblical nonfiction, not nonfiction, biblical fiction. 1 biblical fiction book every single month. I only read 4, I think. Yes, I read 4 last year. And I realized part of it was after about the 3rd or 4th month, I was getting burnt out. So, I just want to get through 3. I will be posting a video with a bookshelf tour later this week, and you'll be able to see all of them, but I have a lot of biblical fiction books on my shelves, and I've read very few of them. So I'd like to get through at least 3 this year. And as of January, February, and March, I have read 0. Let's see if I can do better on that the rest of the year. Alright, the next goal is very much a stretch goal, but I would like to get my physical TBR to less than 100 books. As of the beginning of this year, I was at 165. I am currently at 153. I have read or DNF'd 13 books. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone. I have read or DNF'd 13 books. I have unhauled 12. And I've bought 13. So, the number is lower, but it's not as low as I would like it to be. And technically, this is just fiction. This doesn't count nonfiction, but if we want to look at that as well. I had 15 nonfiction books that I owned and hadn't read yet at the beginning of the year. I currently have 19, because I read 1 and I bought 5. So that one's not going so well. And then my last big goal for the year is to buy fewer books. So my acceptable goal, I guess you could say, would be buying 50 books or less. I have bought, I think, between 70 and 100 books over each of the last couple years. I want to get that number down. My physical TBR is getting out of control. I want to get that number down. So, my acceptable goal is 50 books. My ideal goal is 30 books or less. However, so far, and this is technically in 3 months because I have not bought any in April yet. I have bought 18 books. Do note that that's over half of what I would ideally like to have. And we're only 3.5 months into the year. Not doing great. However, I have also decided to add, I don't know, an exception to this. If I buy a book and I unhaul it in the same year, it doesn't count. So if I buy a book, I read it, I don't like it, I unhaul it, it doesn't count towards the books that I bought for the year. Because my bigger concern is the space on my bookshelves. Yes, this would also save me money by not buying books. But my bookshelves are the bigger issue right now. I am running out of space. And I keep running out of space. So I want to get that number down. However, other than library book sales, I've only been buying books that I know I have every intention of reading. So that's helping a little bit as well. Okay, and then I don't know if I can really count this as a yearly goal. I'm not really even sure it's a goal. I decided to change up how I'm reading books, namely in how I'm choosing the next book that I'm going to read. So you'll kind of see this when I do my May TBR, but I'm not going to do a standard monthly TBR every month. I have a cycling list of books based on categories. I'll go into this a little more in my May TBR, but I have a cycling list of categories that I am picking books from. And as each one comes up, then I can pick a different book. I know that probably makes no sense the way I'm trying to describe it. I'm not good at describing things vaguely, especially things like this. The reason I decided to do it that way is because I've noticed over the last few months, I've noticed it the most, but even over the last few years, that yes, even without a booktube channel, I'm making TBRs. I'm picking books I want to read every month. The problem is I then become very stressed about getting to all the books on my TBR. And it seems like no matter how small I try to make it, there's always that feeling of, oh, but I want to get to this book, and I want to get to this book, and I want to get to this book. And then it's a very large TBR, and it's a lot of books to get to, and I'm like, I don't know if I can get to them this month. Then when the next month rolls around, I get excited about the shiny books on that TBR, and I don't want to get to the books that were on my previous month's TBR. I don't know. It's a whole big, messy cycle. And I'm hoping if it's just a list of books, and I can change them out as I want. It's my TBR. They're books I want to read. If I decide I'm not interested in a book, I can take it off the list. I am free to do that. But I'm hoping just by having this list that, because it's not confined to a month, that maybe there will be less stress about getting to all of the books in 1 month. But then also, it's not the shiny object syndrome of, oh, these books are going to be on next month's TBR. I'm going to get rid of this month's books because I'd rather focus on the shiny object. That's my hope. I don't know if it's going to work. It might get to the point where I keep changing out books enough that I'm like, yeah, clearly this isn't working. I'm not sticking to any of the books that are on the list. I don't know. We will see. But it's something I'd like to try. And I want to try it at least for 3 months. So I will be trying this out in May, June, and July. And if by the end of July it is absolutely not working, it is completely falling apart, I will try something else, or I will go back to normal monthly TBRs. But I'm hoping this makes it easier. And honestly, that's the biggest thing this year, is I want to enjoy making TBRs. I also want to enjoy my time reading. One of the things I've been bad about is trying to get through so many books because I need to get through them, or trying to get through books quickly just to check a box, essentially. I want to enjoy the books I'm reading. That's why I read. That's why we all read. We want to enjoy the books that we read. So I'm trying to find a way to do that where I do get to plan out my books because I'm a planner. This is what I do. But I also get to just sit down and enjoy the books that I'm reading without feeling rushed, without feeling the pressure to finish 10, 15 books in a month. Because that doesn't happen for me very often. It is rare that I break double digits in a month. So I don't want to push myself to do that. I don't know if any of that made sense or not. Again, I'll try to explain it better when I do my May TBR video. But in general, those are my goals for the year. So I want to read 6 big books. I want to finish 6 or more series that only have 1 book left. I want to read 3 biblical fiction books. And I want to get my physical TBR under 100. And I don't want to buy more than 50 books this year. Those are my goals. And to play with my TBR to figure out what's going to work for me so I can enjoy reading while still enjoying the planning. I think that pretty well sums it up. So I feel like this is a very short video all of a sudden. I thought it'd be longer, but I think it would have been if I hadn't changed the way I was doing my TBR, because I was going to explain that as well, but I have completely overhauled it. So you're not getting the longer video, I'm sorry. But let me know down in the comments below what some of your reading goals are for the year and how you're doing with them. Let me know also how you pick your TBRs every month, because I'm curious to know how other people do things to see if I find something that might work for me. I have one other video out on this channel as of the day that this video goes live, and that is a rapid fire wrap up of all of the books that I read in January, February, and March, since I'm just starting BookTube and I wasn't here to do those wrap ups. And I will be having new videos coming out from the day this video goes live until the following Monday. So you can check out the previous video if you missed it. Otherwise, I will see you in my next one.